For us, it's a daily thing.
It's every day, right?
This is Mammoth Daily
We're going to take you inside the locker room
with Mike Fulta.
We want this show to be about the fans, and we want this show to be driven by our Utah Mammoth community.
And Adrian Denny.
Fans can submit what they want to hear us talk about, what they want to hear Utah weigh in on. It's all going to be here.
Here's Mike and AD with you.
Utahns, countrymen, lend me your ears.
Right here on Mammoth Daily.
Victory is ours. Victory is ours. Good day in the morning to you people. Victory is ours. Adrian, we drink from the keg of glory this morning. The Utah Mammoth have purchased their ticket to the 2026 Stanley Cup playoffs. A win last night against the Nashville Predators and a little help from the Anaheim Ducks, and the Mammoth are dancing. AD, it's a good day to be a Utahn.
It's reserved, Mike. The playoffs are reserved in 2026 for the Mammoth. And, we heard from the guys throughout the day, and they were pretty modest about it. We're not watching the scoreboard. We just want to go take care of business. But by going out there and taking care of business, it solidified a chance to get the X by their team's name with 4 games left in the regular season. When Anaheim beating the San Jose Sharks 6-1, they did it. But, Mike, that's a way to go into the playoffs. That was a heck of a performance from the Mammoth, from Karel Vejmelka to Clayton Keller leading the way, to Michael Carcone drawing a couple penalties, to guys like Liam O'Brien and Brandon Tanev laying down some big hits. Team effort. That's the game you want to be your clincher, Mike. It was a good one.
It was a good one. We'll break down the 60 minutes from last night. But AD, I just want to bask in this clinching feeling, because playoffs had been something that was vocalized at the start of the season, even in the off season, ahead of training camp. And every team says playoffs, right? Especially teams that are trying to come out of a rebuild. And I give a lot of credit to Andre Tourigny, the coaching staff, and all the players for kind of keeping that playoff illusion at bay and keeping us focused on the task at hand night in and night out. Because even though we all know the standing scenarios and we can see the point situation each and every night in the playoffs, it still comes as a surprise, as a shock, as a jolt of energy that it feels like it comes out of nowhere, that all of a sudden we wake up on Friday morning and the Mammoth had their ticket punched. But I credit Bear for keeping us all focused in the moment.
You got off to a good start in October. You had the 7-game winning streak, and you're feeling good. In November and December, it was a challenge with the road games that piled up and the back-to-backs. And, the Mammoth just weren't quite, what they were in October. And then they come home, and we've been talking about it for months. The 7-game homestand, that's where we're going to make our move.
Yep.
When we're at home, when the rest of the NHL is playing their second half like our first half was, with condensed schedules and with lots of travel, and the Mammoth made their move then. And that 6-0-1 homestand, that's the statement for me. That's the signature for Utah that, okay, we're a playoff team. And then you get to yesterday morning and we get the text that with a regulation win and an Anaheim win over San Jose, it's official. And I got to be honest with you, Mike, as we're going down the stretch in that game against the Predators, Mammoth take that early lead. They made it 2-0. Karel Vejmelka shut the door in the second period. Mike, we're at the second intermission, starting to feel a little emotional.
Yeah,
that's a big life moment for the Mammoth and the organization and the state of Utah, and clinching a playoff spot, making it official. That's a big deal. That's something special. And I'm getting the feeling like, life moments, yeah. like when we got the job here, each of us, that's huge. That's a life moment. I think back to my niece and nephew being born. I think back to the Jazz making the finals for the first time after cheering them on as a kid, from elementary school to high school when they finally made it. And thinking back about, big things, like it started to feel a little emotional, Mike. Like we knew this was coming, but now it's official. It's a thing. The X is by the Mammoth name, and they have clinched it, and they got to that goal. And I remember Clayton Keller saying it for the first time during Mammoth Week. Playoffs is the goal, when he made that appearance in St. George. And Cole Bagley wrote a great piece on it at KSLSports.com. And we got into training camp, and the guys were not hesitating, saying the word playoffs. And Bill Armstrong was saying that's the expectation. And you play a good season, and Bear telling us at morning skate on Thursday, the NHL regular season is 82 games to see who can make the most improvement. And you got to evolve, you got to grow along the way. And kudos to this group, Mike, because we've just seen them make so much progress to get to this point, growing, finding ways to close out those close games, getting the power play back on track. Karel Vejmelka, the year that he's put in, tied for the NHL lead in wins. And you just got to be proud of what they've done to this point. But Mike, as we heard from the guys after the game on Thursday, they're not interested in having this just be a 2-week extension to the regular season.
Yeah.
The message was, we're just getting started.
Yeah, and you're right. It is emotional, Adrian, and we both have been through playoffs at lower levels of hockey, and it's still special even then. And with playoffs, we're going to get a lot more eyeballs, and we're probably going to get more people tuning into the show. So if you don't know, he's Adrian Denny. I'm Mike Volta. We're the Hockey Night in Utah radio crew. We kind of got caught up in the intro there. You can find him at 801 Adrian Denny on Twitter. I'm at Mike_Volta. But so special, and we're glad to have everybody along for the ride. And it's for all of you, the great fans that come out to the Delta Center, that are watching on SEG Plus and listening on the KSL Sports Zone. Like it's for all of us. It's for the state of Utah, and it's meant so much to these guys to get to this point that you can tell that this isn't something that the Mammoth just walked into or fell into, Adrian. They won 5 in a row to get to this point. And maybe some of those wins, like you think back against Vancouver, even the game against Edmonton, there were moments where it wasn't perfect. It was a little loosey-goosey, but you mentioned you want this to be your clinching win. This was a statement win. Like Tuesday was a statement win against an Edmonton team that the Mammoth have a good chance of facing. This was a statement win that, okay, we can buckle down and play the way we need to defensively, and our goalie can be the goalie that we know can win us playoff rounds. Stopping, 29 of 30 against Nashville. Just a heck of an effort defensively by the Mammoth, and then a heck of a night for Karel Vejmelka after a couple nights where he let in a few goals. But all around, just special stuff. I want to get to AD. Where did you watch the Anaheim game?
Mike, we were on the air on Hockey Night Utah postgame edition, and I just had NHL.com up, and I was given time codes every 30 seconds. And it was a third period where Anaheim was extending the lead. 3-goal third period for the Ducks to take it 3-0, ultimately up to 6-1. So that was it, Mike. Living it with the folks on Hockey Night in Utah on the radio, post-game edition. Being on the air with the Mammoth officially clinched that spot. That was another special thing. Our fan engagement, our Twitter was just going nuts. Utah could feel it coming, and Mike watching it tick down in real time and getting the official message that the playoffs were completed. That's going to be another thing that we remember and look back on, being with Utah on the radio on the night where this team in the second season as a franchise clinches a playoff berth.
Well, and it's a big night when Adrian and I stay up late to record Mammoth Daily. You're always staying up late, AD, but it's a big night when I put the bedtime back a few minutes so we can record because we want to get you the most full show that we can. But AD, I had gone to Flanker in the Gateway, which is right across the street from the Delta Center, and had popped in there because they've got a bunch of TVs, and was watching with a bunch of Mammoth fans who had gone to Flanker after the game, and we're all watching the Ducks and Sharks game. And there's only, I don't know, 20, 30 people in there, most of whom are Mammoth fans, all watching the game. Ducks keep scoring. We keep cheering. It was a blast. Like, it was a ton of fun. But I think we were talking before our game, AD, with teams like Anaheim and San Jose, these two young teams that can score a lot of goals, give up a lot of goals. We knew that a third period lead did not mean much either way between those two, but credit to our good friends at Anaheim for getting it done.
What a way to snap a 6-game winless skid. Who would have known, Mike, that we would be on April 9th rooting for the Anaheim Ducks, a potential first round matchup to clinch to snap a 4-game losing streak and a 6-game winless skid to help the Utah Mammoth get in the playoffs. And Mike, we might see them in a couple weeks here. As you look at the latest standings, Edmonton was idle on Thursday night. Vegas blew a 3-1 lead in the third. Their 4-game winning streak got snapped in Seattle. Anaheim beating the San Jose Sharks 6-1. So we'll wait. We can clinch that first wild card on Saturday. Magic number for that's 1 point. We might be waiting a little longer to get that first round playoff opponent, and the tables will quickly flip on how we feel about the Anaheim Ducks. We got a great tweet on Hockey Night Utah postgame edition that said, "For one night only, #fly together."
That's right. This is the one night where we're not going to shoot that inflatable duck they have floating around the Honda Center. We're not going to shoot that thing out of the sky.
Quack.
Oh my gosh, it's a monstrosity. But yeah, thanks to the Carlsons and the Ducks for getting the job done at San Jose. And Adrian, it's nice to have that clinch because it's now you can focus on yourself, right? And you've got your spot in the playoffs. You still need to nail down that number one wild card, but now I think the pressure is off a little bit, where you look at this core going back to the Arizona days, and getting to the playoffs for years was not even thinkable. And just getting to the playoffs has been the goal for 2 years now. We can kind of count last year, but it's been a milestone in the distance, and it's been in the distance for so long. Now you're there. The pressure comes off a little bit. Doesn't mean that you lose focus, but there's a burden that's been lifted off of this group's shoulders.
Yeah, and Mike, you've watched him for the last, almost 2 weeks here play some pretty incredible hockey and be led by their top scorers of Clayton Keller, Dylan Gunther, Nick Schmaltz, Logan Cooley, Mikhail Sergachev. 58 combined points from those guys in the last 6 games. That's the most by a team's top 5 scorers in a 6-game stretch this year.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay's top 5 guys had 57 points in a 5-game stretch in late December and early January. So that's some pretty good company to keep. But goals are going in, 4+ goals in 6 straight. Power play, 11 for the last 24. And Mike, then you look at Karel Vejmelka. That's probably one thing going into the game on Thursday night. We thought, okay, you gave up 4 against the Vancouver Canucks. You gave up 5 to Edmonton when the expected goals in that game for the Oilers was under 2. That's probably one thing you want to make sure that's ready going into the playoffs. Yeah. That's Karel Vejmelka, and what a contest he had on Thursday night at the Delta Center for win number 37. And again, I just love saying this, tied with Andrei Vasilevsky for the NHL lead.
Yeah, no kidding. Pretty good company there. And he's won 5 in a row, Adrian, since he got pulled against Edmonton on March 24th. And like you said, some of those wins, he gave up more than you'd like. I think he was objectively bad against the Oilers on this past Tuesday, but was really good against Nashville. And Adrian, how many plays did he just kill? Like, how many times was Nashville one and done? It felt like they couldn't get to any of those rebound opportunities. And that's a Nashville team that's typically pretty good around the net, whether it's tips, whether it's deflecting pucks, or getting to those second chance opportunities. And they didn't have a lot because, A, the Mammoth were, I think, pretty good defending their net. But I think, B, because Karel Vejmelka was kind of distributing those rebounds in hard-to-reach areas. And I think that's one of the ways you know a goalie's really kicking. He's not just making the save, but he's thinking ahead to the next play as well, making sure he's not putting that puck in a dangerous area. So that's one of the better games we've seen from Veggie. I was really hoping he was going to get the shutout there. The one goal that beat him was just kind of a crazy carom. LaRue made a nice play through the legs, and bada bing, bada boom. You were 7 seconds away from killing off that power play. But yeah, great stuff from Veggie. My three big storylines of the night for Utah, it's Karel Vejmelka, it's Clayton Keller's 3 assists, and it's Utah winning a dirtier game than the last few we've seen, where everything is kind of zipping back and forth.
Mike, it was a game that was 2-0 for over 17 minutes. And during that stretch, Karel Vejmelka made 10 huge saves. Mike, that game could have been 3-2 Nashville in 5 minutes. They had Stamkos firing. They had Forsberg going. They were crashing the net, and Vejmelka just kept denying them before Lawson Krause's 22nd of the year in the third period got Utah to 3, and 3 minutes and 2 seconds after that, Dylan Guenther's 39th would make it 4-0. Mike, by the way, got to throw a happy birthday out there to Dylan Guenther.
Yeah.
23 years old today, and one goal shy of 40 on the season.
Yes, and we can't use those nuggets anymore. All the stats of goal scorers 22 and younger, because now he's turning 23. My best friend back home, Hayden Groh, he came to a couple games last year, and as a gift, I got him a Dylan Guenther jersey, and I didn't even realize that he and Dylan shared the same birthday. So I got him the Dylan Guenther jersey as a gift. It was not a birthday gift. It was just like a welcome to Utah gift. And what do you know? Him and Gunner share the same birthday. So happy birthday to Dylan. Happy birthday to my old college roommate, Hayden Groh. He has seen the best and the worst of this half of Mammoth Daily, Adrian. But yeah, fun stuff. And 39 goals for Guenther, 31 for Schmaltz. The point streaks are starting to get ridiculous. Cooley 6 game, Guenther 6 game, Schmaltz 6 game. Guenther is 4 straight multi-point games. I mean, Keller was outstanding with 3 assists, Adrian. But how about Guenther's first assist on the Yamamoto goal, where he walks past one of the Predator defensemen and then pulls it to his backhand, and Yamamoto has a really nice net drive to tap that in. Like that, he is emerging as a puck transporter, Adrian, where we didn't see that last year.
Gosh, Mike, I saw that transpiring. I didn't see it coming. I don't know about you, but he's a shooter, and just the slip pass that he made to Kyler Yamamoto right there to finish it off. But how about Dylan Guenther, Mike? He's now got a 5-game assist streak for a guy that's up to 39 goals on the year. And how nicely does Yamamoto fit in with Gunner and Logan Cooley? Yamamoto's like that. You know, you got your roommate, you got your bestie, you just talked about him, but you got an extra room and you still need to figure out a way to pay the rent. And a guy named Kyler, you know, hits you up on Craigslist, and he comes in and seems like a nice enough guy. And you know, then you get him as your roommate. He moves in, and he's probably the easiest guy you've ever met in your life. And he's low key, and he's clean, and he's organized, and he's kind of funny too. He's got a good personality. He'll hang out with you. He likes the same kind of food. That's Kyler Yamamoto with Logan Cooley and Dylan Guenther. He's just easy.
Exactly. Like, you bring him in just as a guy to fill a room, but like by the end, you're kind of hanging out with them, and you're like, I want to hang out with Kyler more. I want to go
Yeah.
out with Kyler. Let's have dinner.
Yeah.
Let's grab a beer or two, Kyler. Like let's play let's play some street hockey together. Yeah, he's a guy you want on your side by the end of it. Absolutely. And he does so many of the little things too, Adrian. Like we say that a lot. And what does that mean? Like, I hate to say he's a jack of all trades, master of none, but I kind of feel like that's where he fits because he does go into the corners and win puck battles. Like, he gets in on the forecheck, but he's got the skill to make passes and put the puck on the tape of Gunther and Cooley, and he's got the scoring touch to finish the chances that they feed him in reverse. So he fills in the cracks to me like that. That's how I see it with that threesome. He fills in the cracks with those two and plays off them really well. And those are two great players, Logan Cooley and Dylan Gunther, but that doesn't mean that their line's clicking all the time. You need the right guy to fill in those cracks. And Kyler Yamamoto has been an excellent line mate with those two. Really fun to watch.
He's up to 12 goals, Mike. He's knocking on the door. 4 games left to being close to being Utah's 8th 15-goal scorer this season. He's on a 2-way contract. Obviously, being up here in the NHL all season, he's a former first-round draft pick, and he's been on a line with Draisaitl and McDavid, but he's Mr. Dependable. And Sarah Merrifield was with us on the radio on Tuesday night, and when the Mammoth were playing Edmonton, and relayed a conversation she had with Draisaitl in October about Kyler Yamamoto and pretty much everything we just said about him right there. But it just kind of is an additional guy to hit on, Mike, as we look at everything that went well for Utah on Thursday and during the course of this 5-game winning streak that's just kind of clicked everything into gear.
You can go back and look at Natural Stat Trick. You can sort through the lines. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but you can basically kind of see how a guy does with certain line mates. And if you toggle Kyler Yamamoto on and off, if you put him in that third bedroom and then take him out and put him in the third bedroom and take it out with Draisaitl and McDavid, like their numbers were better with Yamamoto when the three of them were together, which I don't think it was all the time, but he was incredible. He's been incredible. The last 2 games, I think, have been really good. AD, how about the 4 goals this last game against Nashville? Were those the easiest 4 goals you've ever seen from a goal scoring perspective? Like all the work was done by the assist man, right? You have the Yamamoto tap in, you have the Schmaltz backdoor tap in from Keller on the power play. You have a Gunther one-timer that was wide open, another assist from Keller, and you had the Krause one-timer that was also wide open on the assist from Keller.
The puck movement and the primary assist from Keller on 3 straight goals, Mike. Keller's good, right? We know that. Yeah. We've seen his numbers. We know his resume. Thursday night was the pinnacle of Clayton Keller for me. And a guy that's got 15 points in his last 6 games, second in the NHL in that span, but he's flying. He's passing. He's winning games in overtime. Like it's why you're where you're at, because he's there setting the tone with your other 4 top scorers. But gosh, watching Clayton Keller just dance out there, the last 5 games in particular.
How about this? He had 90 points last year. That was a career high, right? And he has not been on a 90-point pace all season. And, there were points this season where, you're looking around, maybe the Mammoth are struggling in November. You're saying, oh, gosh, like some of these guys that had career years last year, they're not on pace for the same numbers this year. What's wrong? Well, he's at 83 points right now with 4 games left in the regular season. It's conceivable he could get to 90 or beyond 90. And if he keeps playing on this current pace, which I'm not saying he will, but if over the next 4 games he continues on the pace that he's been on the last 2 weeks, he'll hit 90 again. But also, Adrian, and this is not a stat that is, like I like to say, it's not an end-all be-all stat, plus minus. He was minus 12 last year to end the season. Right now, he's plus 24. That's a 36 goal difference where he is not just getting it done on the offensive end, Adrian, but he's pretty darn clean in the defensive end too.
That's something. And you talk about the Mammoth, how solid they are 5-on-5 defensively. And it's one thing we talked about with Matt Larkin from the Daily Faceoff as our Thursday expert on yesterday's show. It's one thing he brought up, and he said he can see the Mammoth beating any of the three teams they're possibly going to be matched up with as the first wild card in the Pacific Division Championship, starting with the 5-on-5 defense. And the 5-on-5 defense, it's everybody, right? You got, arguably one of the top 6 defensive pairings in the NHL, but you need your forwards. And we've talked so much about Nick Schmaltz and his defensive ability, Cooley and Gunther being able to go head to head against the best. And, your captain, like in everything else, has been right there. Same thing too.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of that Schmaltz too. Don't you think? Like Schmaltz stepping into the center role, he's been unbelievable defensively all season. But a 36 goal difference in plus minus from year to year, that is monstrous. And again, plus minus, it is what it is. But 30 that's extremely noticeable. And to be on a similar scoring pace offensively, like it makes it all the more impressive for me. So. Just one of the better wins this year. And look, I know Nashville was playing their 3rd game in 4 days, end of a road trip. And you could make a case for each of the Mammoth last 5 wins. You could try and rain on the parade if you want. Oh, LA didn't show up. Oh, Seattle's been embattled. They've waved the white flag on the season. Vancouver is eliminated. Edmonton didn't have Draisaitl and Hyman. Nashville didn't have Yossi. That is a key absence. And they were on the end of a road trip. You could go through the list of excuses, Adrian, but at the end of the day, to collect 10 straight points, to win 5 in a row, that's all that matters. Like, every team has excuses this time of year, and to win 5 straight in the manner the Mammoth have, especially this recent one, it's the highest I've been on this team ever since I've been covering him.
You can't argue with it, Mike. Entering Thursday night, they were one of 4 teams in the NHL since 2000 that had scored at least 6 goals in 4 straight games. Yeah. They've got the power play going. It's 11 for the last 24. The top 5 scores in a 5-game span all year in the NHL that we just mentioned. During this 5-game winning streak, they've won 2 games by 4. They've won 2 games by 3, and they won that game in overtime against Edmonton. They've been able to maintain in the first, pull ahead in the second, and deliver the knockout punch in the third. Mike, do you want to hear from the guys on Clayton Keller? Let's start off here. We got some good sound from Utah talking about their captain. We've got Lawson Krause, then Clayton Keller, and here's head coach Andre Turney on the red-hot Utah captain and his leadership.
I think just maturity everywhere. He's always been a passionate hockey player, and that's what kind of sticks out for the rest of the group is how much he wants to, be the best player he can possibly be, and by doing so, he pushes the rest of the group to be better. And as a guy following your captain, that's all you can really ask for. And, he's playing incredible hockey. Schmaltzy, everyone's stepping up and doing their jobs. It's just been a lot of fun.
I think I'm pretty hard on myself, and I think, there's lots of things that I talk to my mental coach about, and it's something that, I put a lot of time and effort into the last, 6-7 years since my second year in the league, since we started working together, and I try to be better every single day. I think it's never just one guy also. I think we have so many great leaders in this room that have helped out, and we're all unique and lead in a different way, and I think, it's a testament to the guys that we have in this room and, trusting one another, and it's been a lot of fun to learn and to lead with those guys for sure.
He's really tuned in. He's playing rock solid. He's playing, making the right decision with the puck. For me, his ability always been there in this. He can make those plays, but the way he led in the third and moving his feet on the breakout, having great track, putting pucks behind D, getting on the forecheck. That's what you want from your leader. I just praise the team for how we play in the third. It started with our leaders and rock solid.
So that was Krause, Keller, and then Andre Tourney. And, Bear mentioned it, AD. Keller's always had the talent. And on rebuilding teams, there's often a lot of talent. But now that talent is mixing with belief. Not just belief that the Mammoth can make the playoffs, because that's true, but belief that this team can win games in the playoffs, can compete with the best in the NHL, and that belief is scoring a lot of goals right now.
We've had games this year, Mike. We've had homestands. We've had winning streaks where I've kind of thought, I don't think anybody can touch this team right now. And when you go into the playoffs and that's what you're doing, that's how you go from the first wild card to winning your first series to your second to who knows, ending up in the conference finals. You mentioned you feel as good about Utah as you have since we started the NHL. Like, it's the proof is right there of why, and everything we've mentioned is why we believe this team can do that. Why it's so big to go into the playoffs feeling good about yourselves and with some momentum. Because if you go in, losers a 7-9 in a second wild card, I've said it, but you're down 2-0 pretty much before you even get to Denver, and you're toast. It's you got to ride the wave that you've been on, and Utah's done a good job of setting the tone after that just okay month of March, after they'd really solidified that first wild card.
Yeah, and learning to win games in different ways too. Learning to win games when it's not your best game. That's what experienced teams do, and the Mammoth are doing that. Even though I think they had their best game, they had their A game against the Predators. AD, want to get to some had some people come up to us and say hi, and say hi, as we always love. Had a whole family. I couldn't get everybody's names, but I know Yeva, Layla, Leilani. Those were three of the girls. They had their brother with them, mom and dad. Always appreciate when those guys come say hi. I think Yeva's 2-0. Or maybe that was Layla. I get them mixed up. Forgive me. But we also had Beefy Beagle and Dustin come by. Beefy Beagle is the social media handle. So I guess they just had a beagle that was a little chunky, and a neighbor one day said, "That's a Beefy Beagle right there." And so that's this woman's Instagram handle. So Beefy Beagle came by. I missed Miss Utah Mammoth, AD.
Yep.
Dang it.
Don't worry, Mike. We'll have her coming up in the Friday free for all.
Okay, good. We had a bunch of people stop by and partake in our Friday free for all, which we're going to get to in a little bit. But a really fun night Thursday evening at the Delta Center.
Yeah, they were lined up when we got to the radio booth to participate.
I had to call up. I'm like, Johnny, get down here. People like Carrie is not happy. Carrie wants to record and get on with his life here. He's waiting for the tripod.
It was the line of the folks waiting to get into a concert that have the GA floor tickets, and that's what it looked like when we walked in. And Mike, it was a special night. Mammoth clinched the playoffs, and playoff tickets on sale at 9:30 a.m. on a Friday morning. That's today when we're releasing this episode. On the Utah Mammoth app, you can get access to the exclusive pre-sale for Mammoth playoff tickets, and to the general public at 10 a.m. Just follow the Utah Mammoth socials at Utah Mammoth on your favorite platform for all the details on Mammoth playoff tickets. The 2026 playoffs presented by Delta, Mike. And you don't even have to ask, Mike, because we've got your playoff merchandise as well. It's available at the team store, 11 a.m. The store opens Friday morning. Playoff merch for the Mammoth, playoff tickets, we're ready to go.
It's going to be insane. Like it's going to be nuts. I can't wait for it. Don't know who we're playing yet. We'll figure that out in the days to come. Still work to be done in the regular season. It's an interesting feeling, right, AD? You have your ticket punched. I'm still going with ticket punched, by the way.
Sure.
You have your ticket punched, and you're just not in your seat yet. You're in the venue.
Yeah.
You're wandering the concourse. Your ticket punched, though.
It's playoff tickets on sale today. That's what it is, Mike.
Right.
They're available to purchase. To reserve your spot.
You got your ticket to the playoffs, to the big dance, but now it's fine tuning. Now it's making sure that you are, once game one of round one hits, that you are in tip top shape and ready to go. So that's what these next 4 games have to be about for the Mammoth. But any other shout outs? Anything else to get to before we get to our free for all?
Yeah, let's throw it to the free-for-all, Mike. We had, as you said, lots of great folks stop by from Mammoth Nation to participate in our fan-run Friday free-for-all. So we wanted to know from the fans, who are they voting for the All-In Award? Who do they want to see in the first round? And give us a hot take. Let us know what's on your mind. So we've got that coming up in the Friday free-for-all. And then, Mike, in our local hockey segment, we are going to say farewell to the Utah Grizzlies. Last weekend at the Maverick Center, this weekend, tonight, Saturday, and Sunday. I will be there tonight. I'm going to be filling in for Tyson Whiting for a few minutes, the play-by-play announcer for the Grizzlies, while he goes downstairs to drop the ceremonial first puck. I'm going to bridge pregame to when Tyson gets back to the radio booth after dropping the puck. So
what an honor!
Looking forward to that.
What an honor! That's awesome. Full circle for you too, AD.
Yeah, be back in section 114. So that's what we got coming up here on Mammoth Daily, Mike, and then we'll send the folks out with a quick little preview of the Carolina Hurricanes coming up tomorrow because we've got some more hockey games to win. But thanks for hanging out with us, folks. We had to do the emergency overreaction show after clinching the playoff. That's for sure.
Let's get to our Friday free-for-all. That's up next right here on Mammoth Daily.
Get ready. Your Friday free-for-all is here.
My name's Jordan Hinckley, and I'm from Salt Lake City. I'm Camden Strong, and I'm from West Jordan, Utah.
Casey Ruff, I'm from Daybreak, South Jordan, Utah.
Scott Woodmansey from Draper, Utah.
Razvan from American Fork, Utah.
Michael Johnson, Bountiful, Utah.
I'm Angie.
I'm Dustin. We're from West Valley.
Oh, my name is Miss Mammoth, Miss Utah Mammoth. Sometimes I come full crowned in my dress and my sash. Today's a little dress down day.
Okay.
But Kathleen, but I actually go by Miss Utah Mammoth. And I'm from Salt Lake, as a matter of fact, just 2 blocks.
So for the All-In Award, I voted for Lawson Krause because I think he's been way over the top this year.
At first I thought Nate Schmidt, but now overthinking it, I think Lawson Krause.
I'm a huge Jersey fan. I'm always going to vote for Sean Jersey. He's my favorite. I think Sean Jersey should win the all-around vote.
I got to go with Krause. He has done so much this year. It's Krause.
It's going to be Krause.
Got to be Krauser. He's the do-it-all for the team.
Schmitty, all the way. I am going to go with Jersey because Jersey, I have a Jersey jersey. So that's part of the reason. Also because just like when you have to take little things, and then I was a big Kings fan. So for me to sort of do my crossover, I started with my Jersey jersey, and now that's it. I'm done.
I would love to play Vegas or the Ducks. Either way. I think we can win.
Anyone but Edmonton, but personally, I would rather do Anaheim.
Man, I would love to play any team first in the playoffs. Frankly, I think the Ducks are the best matchup for us, but just to make it to the playoffs would be amazing. So we'll take on anybody.
I would love to play Anaheim, but Anaheim they don't want to play us, so they lost on purpose so they could not include face-off.
Not Edmonton. Anybody but Edmonton.
The Ducks.
Vegas.
Let's get it over with.
Their goaltending sucks right now, and they can't score.
Oh, I want to play, well, the Mammoth, they are hungry. And what I would like to see on the menu is duck à l'orange. So they're hungry. They're coming to get it. Ducks are in.
Oh, do I have a hot take for you? I think Nick Schmaltz is going to score a hat trick tonight.
Let's leave the playoff format how it is. I don't Like, I know people want to change, but keep it how it is. I like how it is.
I say win 2 more games. We're we still first place for the playoffs, or first wild card spot for the playoffs.
We face Edmonton, and Draisaitl is not part of it, and we overcome Edmonton without Draisaitl.
Keep the power play as it is. They're cooking. So, yeah, don't mess with it.
Just sent this to Mike. I got my Tusk mug, and I went home and came up with just a bunch of things that it can be used for besides drinking beer. It can be like a flower vase, a breadstick holder, a cornucopia with candy. And my husband suggested we get like 8 for the next Thanksgiving dinner and have that as the formal dinnerware. So that's my inside track to what to do with those.
This is Mammoth Daily.
And joining us right now on our local hockey segment, good friend of mine, Tyson Whiting, voice of the Utah Grizzlies. Tyson, great to have you on Mammoth Daily.
That's great to be here. We got 21 years worth of voice of the Grizzlies right here.
The only person in Grizzlies history that has called more games than you is me, Tyson. 2005 to 2018, you took over. You're my hand-picked successor. I was not going to leave the state until you were officially named to the position, and you've done a great job over the last 8 seasons now. But Tyson, it's too bad. None of us ever wanted this day to happen, but the Grizzlies have their last weekend coming up tonight, Saturday, Sunday. But some good times, some good memories, Tyson. And I know a lot of history over the last 30 plus years.
And quite a bit of history. You think back to the mid-1990s after the Salt Lake Golden Eagles left, there was a need for a pro hockey team. And the Denver Grizzlies, they came into existence in the summer of 1994. They won a Turner Cup as the Denver Grizzlies. They played at Old McNichols Arena and averaged over 12,000 fans. Then the Colorado Avalanche showed up, and just so happened that Salt Lake needed a hockey team. And so the Grizzlies moved to Delta Center, where they played for 2 seasons, winning a Turner Cup in their first year. And Butch Goring was the head coach of the Grizzlies for their first 4 years in Salt Lake. And he was just an outstanding ambassador, not only for the Grizzlies, but for pro hockey here in the state of Utah. You'd frequently see him on the Fox 13 sports page with Mike Runge, and he'd be wearing those Grizzlies starter jackets for that. I wish I could find a way to get one of those starter jackets. But the Grizzlies had an outstanding team. They had a great goaltender in Tommy Salo, who spent many years in the NHL. And they ended up winning a Turner Cup, sweeping the Orlando Solar Bears in 4 games. And that 4th game was certainly memorable, not only because the Grizzlies won a championship, but they broke a single-game minor league attendance record at 17,381 as they were crammed into Delta Center, and they were able to see an overtime game winner. And the Grizzlies' honeymoon phase was off and rolling with a memorable first season, winning a Turner Cup.
Onward to the E-Center, as it was known, for season number 3. That was 1997-98, the building that hosted the 2002 Winter Olympics. And it's been a good run, Tyson, from the International Hockey League, where the team won a Turner Cup, to the AHL, to the ECHL. And there's been a lot of good players who have come through the E-Center, the Maverick Center, West Valley City, gone on to the NHL while the teams had a lot of success on the ice.
Quite a few great players. I mean, Andy Breckley, who's obviously known as the longtime Boston Bruins TV analyst. He had a good NHL career, and he was a star for the Grizzlies in their IHL era. John Purvis had 4 outstanding years with the Grizzlies. I think to Chris Taylor. Didn't have a ton of NHL time, but he had 3 outstanding years with the Grizzlies. Remember Ray Whitney, who had over 1,300 NHL games? He's a former Grizzly as well. In the AHL area, think back to Mike Smith, the goaltender that had 299 career wins. He was a former Grizzly. Jared Scaldi, he was a fan favorite. I remember him frequently on Ryan Hatch's radio show back in the old 1280 The Zone days. He was a former Grizzly, great one. Trevor Daley, I mean, he played in a ton of NHL games. He was in the Grizzlies AHL era. And you think back, you even think of today, the ECHL era, you had Vic Bartley, who played a bunch of years in the NHL, a fine defenseman. Charles Edward Dastu's had an outstanding rookie year with the
Oh.
Tampa Bay Lightning, and he was the league's defenseman of the year in 2022, and he actually broke an ECHL single season playoff goal record as a defenseman. Did it in just over 2 rounds. He had 19 playoff goals, a record that still stands.
And Tyson, of most recent memory for me, is Trent Miner, the last Grizzly goaltender to get to the NHL, and he's put in a lot of time the last couple years with the Avs.
Yeah, right now, I mean, Avalanche have a pretty deep set of goaltenders, but he spent some time there in the NHL when either Blackwood or Wedgwood has been hurt. Aaron Dell, a former Grizzly, him and Igor Bobkov, if you remember that 2013-2014 season, that was one of the best goaltending tandems in team history. Dell spent quite a few years in the NHL, and Igor Bobkov was quite a talent as well.
All right, Tyson, you have a trivia question for me, and you told me what it was, and I did not cheat. I just pulled up the NHL standings and went line by line of who's coaching where. But let's do your trivia question that you had, and let's see if I can figure this out.
There are 4 current NHL head coaches who are former Utah Grizzlies players. That doesn't include former Salt Lake Golden Eagle Rick Bowness.
Yep. Okay, Tyson, here's what I got. Scott Arniel, Winnipeg Jets.
Yep, he had 10 playoff goals for the Grizzlies in their 1996 championship playoff run.
Jim Montgomery, St. Louis Blues.
Yep, he had the most points of the Grizzlies in their 4-year AHL history.
Glenn Gulletson, 1 game. He's the coach of the Dallas Stars.
Yep, in the 96-97 season, that's the year the Grizzlies went through 63 players.
All right, Tyson, I need a clue here for the 4th one.
Why? He was at the end of his pro career. He was in the AHL era. He coaches in the Eastern time zone. It's not his first NHL team.
He's on his first NHL. He's on his first NHL team.
Not his first NHL team.
Not his first. His second NHL team. I don't like to admit defeat here, Tyson, but you're going to have to tell me in the best interest of time.
Sheldon Keefe. 4 games.
Played 4 games. Got hurt. 0405. How did I miss that?
It was at the tail end of his pro career. I mean, it's easy to forget when it's only a handful of games.
It was in the lockout. He was a big signee when the Grizzlies were starting their first year with the Coyotes. But okay, Sheldon Keefe, Glenn Gulletson, Jim Montgomery, Scott Arniel, the 4 former Grizzlies who are now NHL head coaches. I like that. I like that, Tyson. Well, looking back at your time, because you've been a fan for years since the beginning, been the play-by-play announcer for the last 8 years. What are some of your favorite memories of the team, working for the team, and as a fan?
Well, I kind of think back to that division championship club in the 2021-22 season. That's the year Radastu was the league's defenseman of the year. A part of that season, the Grizzlies ran out of goaltenders, and in Rapid City, right after Christmas, they needed a goalie, so they picked up an SPHL goalie, and he was unable to play. Like, for circumstances happened, and he was ineligible to play. And so 3 hours before game time, they're scrambling for a goalie. They're thinking that the assistant equipment manager is going to have to put on the pads and give it a go. They found a college freshman who just happened to be on Christmas break, and they're like, we need a goalie. And so his name is Brady DeVries, and he came in, and the Grizzlies, I think, unofficially broke a team record for blocked shots in a single game, and somehow they were able to pull through with a 4-3 victory with emergency starting goaltender who played about 62 minutes, stopped all but 3, and led the Grizzlies to victory. It was one of the more incredible things. And then on the bus ride back to the Salt Lake Valley, the roof of the bus flew open, and they had an open-air bus for about 7 hours on the ride back home. So that was a road trip they'll never forget. I remember the division championship clinching game, the next to last game of the regular season against the arch rival Idaho Steelheads. Dakota Raby had 3 goals, and not only did the Grizzlies clinch a division, but they did so against their arch rival, the Idaho Steelheads. I think of that game a few weeks ago as kind of a highlight. That Sunday against Tulsa on March 15th when Danny Genev scored with 10.5 seconds left. He's the favorite for the league's Rookie of the Year award this year. Guy that's only about 5'5", but he is electric, and he delivers just the perfect passes. He's got great patience with the puck, and it's been a ton of fun watching him this year. There's thousands, and I guess in due to time, we could talk for hours about just all the crazy stories and crazy memories, and really all the great players that have spent time here. But that 2021-22 season, I know Grizzlies had a run going to the Western Conference Finals in 2008 that was pretty memorable as well. I mean, those, along with the championship team in 1996, are things that really stand out to me.
Yeah, the 08 team that they had a 10-game winless skid before the last game of the regular season. Won their last game of the regular season, went into the playoffs, won the first 2 games in Fresno. Second one was in triple overtime, and won that series 4-2, beat Victoria. I thought we were going all the way, Tyson. Got swept by Vegas. 2 of the games were in overtime. It was tough to swallow there in 2008. And then great conference finals run, as you said, in 21-22. Tyson, what do you think about this current Grizzlies team? You mentioned that thriller against Tulsa a couple weeks ago. I was there. Tulsa tied it 6-on-5 with about under 30 seconds left. The Grizzlies came back and won it with 14 seconds left. We had it on Mammoth Daily, but great sweep over Wichita last weekend. That's what we want to see coming up this weekend against Rapid City.
And obviously these are highlights of either Danny Genev goals or Danny Genev passes, and it's really been the Danny Genev show. There's a great pass to Riley Connors for a goal. In fact, back-to-back months, the Grizzlies had the league's Rookie of the Month, Riley Connors in February and Danny Genev in March. And the rookies really had to step forward, as after all, in the 3-game sweep of Wichita, 15 of the 20 players in uniform were rookies. So we've gone through a ton of rookies, and we've gone through a ton of players. In fact, the Grizzlies have gone through 60 different players this season. To put that into context, the Utah Mammoth have used 29 players who have appeared in a regular season game. So the Grizzlies have had more than twice as many players as the Mammoth have this year. And so it's been tough to develop some continuity, but Genev's probably going to be the Rookie of the Year. Reed Lepster's having an outstanding year. He's got 31 goals this season. Evan Frieson's going to be a pretty good pro. He's got 23 goals this year. And defenseman Aiden Hansen-Bukata has been an assist machine, as he's third among league rookies with 37 assists. So even though, unfortunately, it's not a playoff year, there have been quite a few high points for the Grizzlies. And they've had 4 different goaltenders get a shutout this season, which you don't see every year.
I'll tell you this, Tyson. The schedule actually did work out for hockey fans here in the Valley, because they can watch Grizzlies Rapid City Friday, Mammoth play Carolina Saturday at 3, Grizzlies play at 7, and then the last game in team history, Tyson, coming up on Sunday. What's coming up at the Maverick Center that the folks can check out as they go back and forth from the Delta Center to the Maverick Center?
That's a great week of hockey. There's no question about it. All weekend's pretty much going to be Fan Appreciation Weekend. It's kind of like Fan Appreciation Day throughout the whole weekend. They've got a lot of fun videos and that they're going to play on the video board, and they're going to remember just about everybody that's been here. We're going to honor the off-ice officials led by Roger Orn, who's been around for quite some time. They're handing out team posters at the door all weekend long, and after Saturday and Sunday's game, the team will sign the posters in the grand lobby near the team store after the games. I think they're even going to paint the ice after Sunday's game as well, and so you can come out and paint the ice, put your name, and get some autographs, and get those final memories of Grizzlies hockey. So it's gonna be a ton of fun.
Well, Tyson, it's sad, right? It's not what we wanted to see, but that's showbiz, right? 30 plus years. It's been a great run. You've done a great job being the play-by-play announcer for the last 8 seasons. I told you I wouldn't have left if you weren't the guy. So you've done a great job, and I'm sorry that it's ending, but we've got the memories of 30 plus years of good times at the Maverick Center, at the Delta Center, on the road. on the bus, and we'll have that forever.
Yeah, it's been an incredible journey here, and there's so many great memories. And part of the lasting legacy is going to be all the people that saw their first pro hockey game at a Grizzlies game and got to grow and really develop their love and passion for the game of hockey here at the Grizzlies. Because for 3 decades, this was the lone spot for pro hockey in the state of Utah. And there's no doubt that the sport of hockey has grown tremendously, not only over the last 2 years, but really it's been kind of a gradual growth every year that the Grizzlies have been around. And it seems like you'd see more and more people every year. And so I think, 20 years from now, when we think back to the Grizzlies days, they're going to be fond memories, and it's going to be, those memories of first dates. I mean, how many married couples, went to Grizzlies games, either their first or second dates?
Oh yeah.
And even dates that didn't go so well, it was still a great night at a Grizzlies game, even if the date didn't go well. That's probably going to be the thing we're going to remember many years from now.
The birthday parties, the Christmas parties, the Maverick Mondays, the full houses on the holidays, the great theme nights, Pink in the Rink for breast cancer awareness, Hockey Fights Cancer, Military Appreciation Night, Guns and Hoses Night.
Well, those skeleton jerseys, the Halloween skeleton jerseys that got a ton of great attention.
The Halloween skeleton jerseys, all the post-game skates with the team. It's been a good run, Tyson. Enjoy the weekend, and I know you'll go out on top with the Grizzlies. All right, so fun to catch up with Tyson, and special weekend at the Maverick Center if you have a chance to go out and say goodbye to the Grizzlies. 30-plus years here in the Valley, Mike. Memorable run, the Turner Cup in the first season. So thanks to Tyson for stopping by. And Mike, the electricity of hockey is continuing tomorrow, Delta Center, 3 p.m. The Mammoth and the Carolina Hurricanes coming up at 3 p.m. We'll be on the air. Hockey Night in Utah starting at 2, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We'll have the folks covered. And then, Mike, how great of a back-to-back is this? I was talking about it with Matt McConnell. 3 p.m. home game, play the game, hour-and-a-half flight to Calgary, 7 p.m. game on Sunday night against the Flames. That's about as doable as a back-to-back for the Mammoth coming up.
But here's the rub. Last year, we got to spend Masters Sunday in Nashville. It was an off day. And Matt McConnell, Dom Moore, and I went to Topgolf on late Sunday morning. So we hit a few balls on Masters Sunday. And then we watched Rory at the Masters at this wonderful kind of like open air bar. Like, we wanted to get off Broadway. So we found kind of a niche spot, and this place was incredible. There's dogs everywhere. It just beautiful weather, sunny and 75. And we got to watch the Masters there. And it was like 4 hours. We were camped out. It was the best. Well, you want me to look up the weather in Calgary on Sunday? Because I doubt it's going to be like what Nashville is. Let's see. Calgary on Sunday. Oh, here you go, Adrian. 30% chance of snow. That's just how I want to watch my Amen Corner at Augusta. That's just how I want to hear Jim Nantz say, "Welcome to the Masters." High of 43 on Sunday in Calgary. So thanks for nothing, NHL schedule department. You ruined our Masters. But as far as the timing goes, yes, Adrian, it's as clean of a Carolina Calgary back to back as you could possibly get.
Sure. One of the final trips to the Saddle Dome next year is going to be the last year there. So
love the Saddle Dome. Love it.
Yeah.
It is a blast. So that'll be fun. But a big one tomorrow afternoon, Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m. puck drop. We'll be on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You can always listen on the NHL app as well, but or the KSL app too. But big test tomorrow against a really good Hurricanes team, a team that thinks it's bound for the Stanley Cup. Mammoth are bound for the playoffs. AD, always fun to record late, my friend.
Always my pleasure, Mike. Thanks so much for staying up late. Might be the only time this year you see us both in ties on a Friday free-for-all edition of Mammoth Daily, but ties were appropriate after you clinched the playoffs. Have a great rest of your Friday, everybody. See you at the Delta Center tomorrow. Stop by Portal G, say hi, and we're back on Monday with our Monday morning Power Play edition after a busy weekend for the Mammoth right here on Mammoth Daily.